Welcome to the Gospel Sleep, a peaceful corner made just for you. If your heart feels weary, if your thoughts won't quiet down, if you've been lying awake trying to find peace, you've come to the right place. Tonight, let go of everything that burdens you. You don't need to be strong right now. You don't need to figure it all out. You only need to rest in God's presence. As you listen, imagine sitting beside a gentle fire under the night sky. The air is cool, the stars are bright, and the Word of God flows softly around you like the sound of a river. Each verse whispers truth into your heart. Be still, and know that I am God. Let those words wash over your thoughts and calm the storm within. Here, in this moment, God meets you right where you are in your exhaustion, in your fears, in your sleepless nights. He's not waiting for you to be perfect. He's simply inviting you to rest. Every video on this channel is created to help you find that sacred stillness to breathe, to reflect, and to fall asleep in peace. So whenever life feels overwhelming, open godly sleep and let the spirit of calm surround you. If you haven't already, please subscribe and be part of our loving community of believers who rest together in His Word each night. Share these moments with others who might need peace too. Together, we can create a haven of calm where everyone is reminded you are loved, you are safe, and God is near. Now, take one more deep breath, exhale, and rest. You're exactly where you're meant to be, in the gentle arms of peace. I ask you now to settle. Find a spot that holds you without strain. Let the weight of your body press into whatever supports you. Breathe in slow. Hold for a gentle count. Breathe out. And let a small sigh carry away some of the day's stiffness. I turn on a small lamp. Its light is soft and warm. It pools on the pages I will read. The room grows quieter as the house exhales. Outside, distant sounds fade into a soft hush. Inside, a steady rhythm grows. I listen to that rhythm with you. I match my breath to it. Inhale. Exhale. Open your Bible in a way that feels easy. Lay it across your knees or place it on a night table. Let your fingers rest on the paper. Let the book feel familiar. If your eyes are heavy, close them for a moment and press your palms lightly against your eyelids. Feel the pulse at your wrists. Recognize the now. This is a gentle pause. This is time to set down what you carried today. I begin to read. I will not rush. Each sentence moves like a slow step along a quiet path. I will paraphrase so that words rest softly in your ear. Hear the meaning more than the form. Let the sense of the text wash over the shape of your day. No need to fix anything. No need to argue tonight. Just receive. I speak first of a shepherd and a field. The shepherd walks close and steady. The field is green and wide. There are pools of water that do not hurry. The shepherd guides with a calm hand. He brings rest where there is weariness. He leads along paths that feel safe. When steps falter, He steadies them. When doubts whisper, He keeps a steady watch. Imagine the grass under bare feet. Imagine the cool on a forehead. Let the image ease tension in the shoulders and the jaw. Breathe with that picture. Inhale the quiet. Exhale the smallness of worry. Let the shoulders fall. Let the muscles unwind. Picture a light that is neither harsh nor bright. It is a soft glow that reaches into pockets of fear and warms them without burning. The light is patient. It moves slowly. It asks nothing from you but to be seen. Rest in that seeing. I pause and listen to each of you breathing. The room is like a sea of small waves. They rise and rest. They flow without pushing. Imagine your breath as a tide that brings back small treasures. Bring to the surface one thing from today that needs gentleness. Hold it like a small stone. Lay it down beside you and leave it there. You are permitted to set it down. There is a promise that nothing can separate a person from a love that keeps watch. Think of that phrase as a shield of quiet. It does not shout. It does not demand. It stands near like a friend who sits on a porch and watches the night change. You can turn toward that watchfulness and let your eyes close on it. Feel the weight of protection settle across the chest, like a soft blanket. My voice moves on to words about rest. A kind invitation is given to those whose souls are heavy. An open hand calls toward a kind of rest that is not earned but offered. Picture a chair pulled close to a warm stove, a cup of tea cooling by the side. You do not have to rise to prove anything. You may stay seated. You may breathe. You may accept the invitation. There is a simplicity to it. Let the simplicity slow your thoughts. I speak about peace that keeps the heart and mind steady. This peace acts like an anchor when the sea grows restless. It does not erase concern. Instead, it sets the worry on a shelf and says, it will be seen in the morning. Right now is a time to be held. Imagine a harbor full of small boats. Each one is tucked in and undisturbed. The waves whisper. The ropes creak softly. There is time enough for sleep. Concerning anxiety, there is a gentle command to hand it over. Picture placing the tangled threads of worry into a small basket. Tie the basket with a simple knot. Place it by the door. Know that these threads are cared for, even if you cannot see who tends them tonight. The act of placing them down is enough for now. Breath slows. Muscles enclenchent. The jaw relaxes. The mind finds a soft plane. I remind you that mercies have no end. Each morning brings a renewal. But mercy is not measured only by dawn. Mercy keeps watch both in the morning and in the deep of night. It moves quietly beside us when we falter. Imagine a hand that reaches without making a sound. Imagine footsteps that coincide with yours. Sometimes behind, sometimes beside, and sometimes ahead, showing a safer path. The knowledge of that presence brings a small ease to the sternum. As the lamp casts a circle on the pages, I read of a promise that homes are made safe. The promise is not a list of perfect things. It is a soft pattern of care. Home may be a room, or a person, or a set of small rituals that bring comfort, whatever your home is. Imagine a light in it that never fully goes out. It keeps a slow burn. It keeps a memory of warmth. Let that memory be near your heart tonight. If sorrow sits with you, do not push it into the dark. Let it be a quiet companion for a while. Names and faces that cause pain can rest here. They do not require answers right now. Give them a small space, perhaps the size of a coin, and place them gently within that space. The sorrow is allowed to breathe. Mercy sits with it. Hope does not force the sorrow away. It simply promises that light will come when fear rises. I tell you to name it simply and watch it as if it were a shadow. Shadows change with the angle of light. They are not the whole of the thing. They can stretch long, but they remain shapes without power above the light. Let the light of a steady presence be the reference. Watch the shadow. Breathe into the steadiness. The body responds to this watching. Heart rate eases. The eyes soften. I read next about courage that grows quietly. Courage does not have to burst into flame. It can be a small ember that keeps the night from feeling endless. Even a whisper of faith is enough to warm a foot on a cold step. Recognize the small acts of courage you practiced today. Maybe you were kind when it was difficult. Maybe you showed patience. Maybe you allowed rest. These are not small in the economy of a tired heart. I guide you to imagine a book that holds promises in simple script. Each page is a sentence of reassurance. Turn a mental page and let a sentence settle. Let it become part of the lining of your thoughts. These sentences do not compete with your memories. They sit alongside them like old friends. They offer a view that is stable. You can return to these pages whenever sleep feels thin. I slow my reading further now. Words spread out like cool stones on a path. Step lightly from one to the next. Each step is a breath. Each breath is a promise that tonight will not be a contest. There is no prize to win, except the quiet that comes from letting go. The act of letting go is both brave and gentle. I remind you of a love that welcomes return. No shame is kept at the door. No ledger is open. The welcome is steady and patient. If you drifted from habits that once comforted you, there is still a place to return. The path back is not guarded by perfection. The path is soft and often lit by small flames along the way. Walk slowly. There is no hurry. Near the end of this time, I offer a simple practice. Rest your hand on the heart. Feel the slow beat. Count 5 slow breaths. On each exhale, imagine a soft word: mercy, peace, rest, hope, sleep. Let each word be a gentle weight that anchors the next breath. Do not strive to fix anything. Do not analyze. Allow the words to be blankets. I will stay with you for a few more minutes in quiet reading. The sounds of the house might change. A clock might tick. A refrigerator might hum. Each ordinary sound is a part of the room's voice. They are companions to this moment. Accept them without annoyance. They are marks of life continuing, even as bodies settle. Before I close this portion, I remind you of a steady reason to trust the night. The light of Scripture is not a flash, but a steady glow. It does not demand immediate proof. It suggests a posture of rest. Trust grows in small measures. It is fed by repeated small mercies. If all you can hold tonight is one simple promise, let it be that rest is offered. Take it as a small refuge. Now, place the book where it feels right. If sleep races, allow it. If wakefulness remains, let it be gentle. Either way, remain in this space of patience. I will dim the lamp slowly. The room will not be plunged into darkness. The glow will linger like a memory. Breathe once more and feel the moment widen. Tonight, you are invited to rest in the light of Scripture. The light is calm. It is sure. It is merciful. Sleep as you are, knowing that care keeps watch. I will leave my voice soft and steady until the next time. For now, let the hush of the night and the warmth of these words carry you toward rest. I let the lamp burn a little longer. Its circle shrinks slowly. The room holds a hush. The breath in here is steady. The book rests open on my lap. My voice moves with calm steps. I bring us now to a thought that softens the weight we carry. I speak of a blanket of forgiveness. The image is simple. It arrives without fanfare. Forgiveness is not a paper list of rules. It is a covering. It drapes over shoulders that have grown tired from trying. It settles across the chest like a warm cloth. It does not press. It simply rests. I read from memory a line that points to distance. It says that wrongs are carried away as far as east is from west. The phrase is a wide horizon. The image is a horizon that has no end. The wrongs are not tucked into a corner where the eye can find them. They are taken far beyond sight. Think of that distance now. Imagine a road that keeps going. Each step on that road removes a small stone of guilt. The pile grows smaller behind you. Picture the blanket. It is soft. It is woven with patient threads. Each thread is a small mercy. The blanket is large enough to cover more than a single night. It reaches to edges of worry. Lay it over the parts of you that hold shame. Let the fabric hush their protests. The texture is not rough. It is kind. It knows the shape of human hands. It curves around mistakes and holds them in a quiet fold. I guide a slow breathing exercise with that image. Place your hand on the sternum. Feel the beat beneath the palm. Breathe in gently. Let the inhale be a quiet lift. Breathe out and imagine the blanket settling further. On the next exhale, let a single word be present. Forgiven. Do this 3 times. Soft breath in. Soft breath out. Forgiven. With each breath, the tension thins. The shoulders lower. The jaw unclenches. I suggest a small practice for the mind. Think of one thing that presses tonight. Choose the smallest piece first. Hold it in the mind like a pebble. Show it the blanket. Watch the blanketing, as if the scene were a slow painting. The pebble is placed into a cloth pocket. The cloth closes. It becomes held and tucked away. Try this with 2 or 3 small things. Each relocation lightens the chest a fraction. Forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. It does not erase memory like a whiteboard cleaned smooth. It offers a new frame. The memory remains. But it no longer determines the present posture. The frame holds the memory gently, with distance and with dignity. Because of that frame, the heart can breathe. The mind can let some doors remain closed for a time. Without panic, the body notices the space and relaxes. I speak now about guilt that repeats itself. Guilt can be loud like a bell. Forgiveness, by contrast, is soft like a bell muffled by cloth. It answers with a different tone. The answer is not a shout. It is a calm that continues. If the bell rings again, the calm is ready. It does not argue. It receives. That receiving is its strength. If there has been stubborn regret, imagine a stream that runs under a bridge. The water does not erase the stones on the bank. It carries small bits downstream. Regret can sit on the bank and name each stone. Forgiveness lifts and carries. The current does not hurry the stones. It simply moves them when it is ready. Watch the flow. Allow the water to do its work. I do not ask for confession as a performance. There is no list to recite. The practice is simply to name. Say inside the mind, I am aware. I am aware of this. The act of naming loosens the shape. Saying it quietly is enough. Placing it under the blanket is the next step. Those who are watching over us do not require a long speech. They notice a small, honest movement. That movement begins change. Mercy meets mistakes gently. Mercy does not thrill at missteps. It offers a hand without calculating worth. Picture a hand extended in dusk. The outline is clear but soft. Take that hand in your imagination. Feel the warmth there. Let the hand guide a shoulder down from tension. When the shoulder lowers, breath follows. The body remembers how to rest. I remind you that forgiveness works slowly in the habit of nights. Change is not always sudden. Sometimes it is a series of small evenings where the blanket is readjusted and the weight below it grows lighter. Each night leaves a softer trail on the heart. The habit of returning to this covering makes the distance broader between conscience and clutching fear. Allow the slow rhythm to be enough. Now consider the image of a ledger, but not one that tallies forever. Picture instead a ledger with an eraser wheel. When a mistake is written, the wheel rolls and smooths the line. The act of smoothing is steady and quiet. It does not erase the learning. It keeps the lesson, but removes the sting. Rest in the knowledge that smoothing happens even when the eye does not watch every turn of the wheel. I take a moment to guide the ears toward the sounds of the room. The lamp clicks softly. The air moves through a vent with a low breath. Those small noises are part of the soft machinery of care. They remind the nervous mind that life continues to tend. The presence of these sounds is a small accompaniment to forgiveness. They are evidence that tending is ordinary and present. A gentle promise comes into speech now. It is simple. There is a path beside the covered heart. The path is walked in daylight and in night. Sometimes the steps are small. Sometimes the steps are almost hidden. But the path exists and leads toward light that is steady. That light does not demand a perfect walk. It moves beside the traveler. Make that path a focus rather than the stumbles on it. Let the soothing pace be the measure tonight. I introduce a short mental image for sleep. Imagine the blanket folded at the foot of a narrow bed. The room is quiet. A small window shows a star. The blanket is there, waiting without hurry. Crawl beneath it in the imagination. Let it conform to the shape of the shoulders. Feel its warmth rise with the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. The softness collects at the eyes. The room becomes a place of rest. If forgiveness feels distant, begin smaller. Forgive me now first. Maybe there was a harsh word spoken to self. Maybe impatience showed. Offer the blanket to that small place. Notice how the act of mercy with one small thing makes the next act easier. The energy required is modest. The return is real. I slow my voice further as eyes grow heavy. My reading becomes like a slow tide. Each line drops breath down. Each pause is a place to sink. The blanket image remains near. It folds over the edges of the day's care. Let the image be a promise you can visit in the night. Before I move on, a quiet instruction when worry wakes in the small hours. Say a short phrase to anchor the mind. Not many words, 2 or 3. Something like, mercy covers, or mercy holds. Repeat it softly, like a lullaby. The phrase need not be clever. It only needs to be true to the feeling you carry tonight. Let it become a calm knot in the pattern of thought. I linger on mercy's patient rhythm. It is not abrupt. It is a soft reheating of a home meal. The warmth returns gradually. The appetite of the heart awakens little by little. If tears come, let them. They are not evidence of failure. They are part of the washing. The blanket does not prevent tears. It receives them and keeps them from pooling into paralysis. Now, I guide the hands to a simple closing practice. Place fingertips lightly on the collarbone. Breathe 8 times in a slow count. On each out-breath, imagine the blanket drawing a little closer. With each count, a small lightness returns to the front of the chest. Let the movement be small and kind. As the lamp grows dimmer, I suggest a small gesture of sharing. If this time brings some comfort, you might let another person know. A gentle word to a friend or a short note to someone who keeps watch can be a light for both of you. If you found rest here, consider subscribing to come again for more nights. Comments left with simple words help shape future evenings. Sharing the message spreads the calm. Each share is like offering a blanket to a neighbor who cannot find one right now. I will close this part with an invitation. Keep the blanket image nearby. It does not disappear when the eyes close. It remains a resource. Return to it in the night when the mind wanders. Trust that distance exists between you and old errors. Trust that mercy works in patient measures. Sleep with that faithful reality near. I place a small finger at the page to mark the spot. The lamp's glow softens to nearly nothing. The room is ready to receive sleep. I stay a little while in silence, breathing with you. When you are ready, let the eyes fall. Let the sleeping come without hurry. We will continue tomorrow night, moving carefully along the same slow path. For now, rest under the blanket that has been offered. I keep the lamp low. The page glows like a calm pool. I open the passage again in my mind. The words invite the weary to come. The sentence offers rest to heavy souls. I do not read it as a demand. I read it as a doorway left open at dusk. I speak slowly. My voice is steady. The house listens. The night answers with soft sounds. A clock breathes. A distant car cease. These noises make the room feel large and safe. The invitation I read is simple. It asks nothing of hurry. It asks only for arrival. Imagine a yoke, not as a trap, but as a shared weight, two shoulders set beneath it. One partner carries more at times. The other shifts and steadies. The load becomes bearable because it is not borne alone. That is the picture I hold when I read the passage. The work does not vanish. The strain changes its shape. It becomes something walked beside, not shoved back as if forced to disappear. A weary soul is a body that remembers too many days. Muscles tighten from holding. The chest learns a shallow rhythm. The mind lists again and again. Rest offers a different pattern. It invites a full breath. When the breath can lengthen, the body finds space it had forgotten. This is what the passage gives. The weight is acknowledged. The help is real. The step becomes lighter. Undera compassionate gaze. Nothing is hidden, and nothing must be defended. The gaze is not a spotlight that finds fault. It is a warm light that notices and then leans in to help. Think of eyes that watch without counting mistakes. Think of hands that reach without satisfying an inventory. Just a presence that understands the shape of tired. Let that be the frame for the night. I guide a small practice now. Hold an image of a pack on the back. See the straps tight. Name one stone inside. Keep the name soft and simple. No explanations needed. Just name it. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out and slip a hand beneath the strap. Lift a little. On the out-breath, imagine placing that stone on a bench by the road. Do not force the scene. Let the bench be stable. Let the bench be kind. Step away from the pack and feel the shoulder relax. Repeat with another stone. Move slowly. One stone at a time is enough for now. Giving and receiving forgiveness belong here. Release is not always about another person changing. Sometimes release is about choosing not to carry. Imagine a letter folded tight in the palm. The letter holds an old wrong. The decision to forgive is like setting the letter on a small table and closing the drawer. The drawer is not a place of denial. It is a place where the letter is cared for differently. It is no longer chained to the spine. Let the act be small and humble. You do not need to feel grand. A quiet letting go is true work. Receiving compassion is its partner. Accepting forgiveness can feel strange. The body might expect resistance. The heart may test the offer. Yet acceptance is gentle. It is like leaning on a friend's shoulder and discovering that weight changes hands easily. If resistance rises, breathe toward it. Name the sense of hesitation. Offer it the same patience shown in the broader invitation. Let the soul practice being held. I speak of a teacher who walks kindly. The teacher does not shame. The teacher teaches rest as skill. Watch the teacher's hands. They move slowly. They show how to set a load down without guilt. They show how to stand straight when the yoke shifts. Learning takes time. The first lessons are small. Rest is learned in short pauses. Practice in brief moments between tasks. A single breath can be a lesson. A 5-second pause before rising from a chair can be a lecture on mercy. There is freedom in choosing to pause. Habit wants to rush. The day insists on finishing. The invitation in the scripture is to stop running. The act of stopping is not failure. It is a brave step toward balance. The weary are not less faithful for stepping aside. They are faithful differently. They answer the call to gentleness. Now try a tuning breath with me. Inhale gently for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 5. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale. With each out breath, picture a burden loosening its hold. Feel the ribs soften. Let the shoulders lower. If the mind offers names of things to fix, notice them and let them float past like small leaves on a slow river. The river does not rush. It carries. Trust it to the rhythm of breath. Compassion sees the reasons for the burden. It notices the obligations that accumulated, the hopes that bent, the griefs that hunched the spine. It does not erase the causes. It offers a rearrangement where the heart can beat without constant defense. Imagine a table where the burdens are set down, labeled with tenderness. Someone nearby maps a plan not of punishment, but of tending. That planning does not require immediate action. It simply recognizes and organizes with care. Sometimes weariness comes from trying to fix what never wanted fixing. Control is a heavy tool. Letting go of that tool is not surrender to chaos. It is a simple relocation. Picture placing the tool in a crate for later use. It sits nearby, not lost. The hand that placed it there rests. The mind that controlled relaxes and becomes curious instead. Curiosity asks softer questions. Curiosity wonders how to move forward with less strain. Forgiving others softens the jaw around old scars. The face that once taught itself to be hard can remember softness. By forgiving, we break the habit of reliving wounds. The release does not necessarily mean the lesson disappears. The lesson remains. It becomes part of a larger story, rather than the headline. This shift yields room for new breath and new thought. If holding on stems from fear of being taken advantage of, notice that fear, without acting on it, can be different from fear that insists on defense. Offer the fear a seat. Let it speak its shape in the mind. Then offer it the same invitation, come and rest. Let the fear be seen by the compassionate gaze. The gaze does not yield rights. It restores the person carrying fear to a steadier posture. Another practice follows. Picture a path lit by low lanterns. Each lantern shows a step. Walk slowly along the path in the imagination. With each lantern, place a small worry on the ground. Watch as the light warms each worry. The warmth does not consume the worry. It changes its boundary. The worry becomes less sharp. When the path reaches a small gate, hand the pile of worries to the keeper of the gate. The keeper is quiet and respectful. The keeper nods and opens the gate in such a way that the burdens move through. Turn and walk back lighter. Compassion is not only a gaze from above, it is a mutual posture. Giving forgiveness to another person shrinks the distance between two hearts. It does not erase the past. It creates a new present with room for rest. If giving forgiveness feels risky, start with small things. Release a small irritation first. Notice the small relief. The experience trains the body to accept larger releases later. At night, rest strengthens the body's willingness to forgive. Sleep is not escape, it is healing. During sleep, the nervous system knits what the day frayed. Take comfort in the slow repair that happens without effort. Trust the biological kindness of sleep. It works like a gentle gardener. Each morning, there is evidence of mending. Let that thought warm the heart before the eyes close. I ask for a brief act of surrender now. Place hands gently on the knees. Breathe 4 times with long exhales. With the last exhale, imagine allowing a single rightness to go. It might be the right to be understood, the right to a perfect outcome, the right to remain vigilant. Let it sit on the floor and no longer take up space in the chest. Notice the new room there. Name it a small mercy. Keep it like a found coin. When guilt returns in the middle of the night, there is a simple response. Breathe and speak internally. A short phrase that affirms being known and still accepted. A phrase need not be ornate. It only needs to be true in feeling. Repeat it softly until the shoulders lower. The practice does not demand perfection. It welcomes the tiredness and meets it with patience. A final image before sleep, a low bench on a hill. The bench faces a wide field. The wind is quiet. Sit there in the imagination. Place a final stone from the pack beside the bench. Watch the sky change color slowly. The field does not need immediate fixing. It rests as it is. So may the heart rest. The compassionate gaze remains near, steady in the dim. The invitation to rest holds. I lay the Bible closed on my lap. The night keeps its slow breathing. I will dim the lamp in a few moments. The voice will soften until it is almost a memory. Carry this one thought into sleep. Rest is not denial of struggle. It is a chosen posture under a gaze that understands. I will meet you again. For now, let the weary soul lean and learn how to be light. The lamp dims a little more. Its circle on the page thins into a hush. I turn the thought to a promise I carry into the room. It is a promise about peace. The promise is not loud. It comes like a gentle word spoken close to the ear. I do not read it as a command. I read it as a gift set before the weary. I paraphrase a line that gives this gift freely. The voice I read from speaks of peace that is unlike the kind the world offers. It is quiet and steady. It does not chase after proof. It sits with a hand folded, patient and full of rest. Picture that hand as still water that reflects the sky. The surface is not stirred by storms. It simply holds the light. Listen with the body. Put one palm lightly on the breastbone. Feel the heartbeat there. Notice where tension gathers tonight. Often the neck holds worry. The jaw clamps down. The shoulders hitch up, as if bracing for a sound that never comes. Breathe now into those places. Let the breath be a small tide that eases muscle and thought. With each inhale, allow the chest to expand gently. With each exhale, imagine a tiny space opening behind the tightness. No pushing, just small permission, peace. As I read it, arrives as a whisper. It does not shout to cancel the noise. It leans in and names a simpler truth. The present stays. Imagine a long corridor in a quiet house. Doors sit along the walls. Some remain shut. One door is open. A soft light spills into the hallway. That light does not force the doors open. It simply reaches and rests upon the floor. Walk slowly toward that light. The steps are measured and kind. The corridor is familiar. The floor gives slightly underfoot. The distance between where you stand and the open door narrows with each gentle step. In the image I hold, peace has a particular texture. It feels like thin silk pulled across a tired forehead. It cools rather than blinds. It is not a sudden repair. It is a cooling that lets inflammation settle, if shame has turned face to stone. The silk returns a hint of pliancy. Let the imagination notice the softness. Let the fingers of thought touch it and come away calmer. A small practice now. Keep the palm on the breastbone. Inhale for 3 slow counts. Hold for 1. Exhale for 4. Make the exhale a little longer than the inhale. With each out-breath, say the word peace inside. Not spoken aloud but felt as a tone at the center of the body. Do this 5 times. Let soundless syllables rest in the chest. Do not turn them into arguments. Let them be lullabies for the nerves. Peace is offered with assurance. Not conditional. It does not depend on perfect hours. It slips into the night regardless of how the day concluded. Imagine a room where habits gather. Some habits are tidy. Some are messy. Peace enters without inspecting. It simply sits in a chair and begins to hum a low, steady note. The hum is not obtrusive. It becomes a scaffold on which the mind can hang its tired clothes. In that small rehanging, there is relief. When thoughts climb like ivy and press against the window of the mind, do not wrestle them. Picture opening the window slightly and letting the air move through. The thoughts do not fall away because they vanish. They loosen their grip because a new current lifts them. See each thought as a leaf caught in a breeze. Watch it move. Watch the pattern without needing to pick up each leaf. The watching itself is a kind of peace. There is a distinct tone to this peace. It is not neutral like cold stone. It carries warmth and steadiness. Imagine a candle behind frosted glass. The shape of flame is blurry, but its warmth is undiminished. Move close enough to feel it. Allow the warmth to travel down the spine in small waves. Do not expect transformation all at once. Let the warmth be evidence that tending is near. Sometimes the body mistrusts rest. The instinct is to check the door, to make a plan, to rehearse tomorrow's defenses. If that impulse rises, treat it kindly. Name it as an attempt to protect. Then offer it a seat and invite it to watch the slow breathing for a few moments. Protective habits can learn gentleness through repetition. Begin with short intervals. A single unguarded minute tonight is progress. Pause and notice the effect. The chest may loosen a fraction. The lips may part. A small surrender happens, and then another. The promise of peace I read is like a low current under a wide river. The surface may ripple with worry or regret. The current beneath continues, unseen but real. Let the mind rest on the knowledge of that current. It need not be made visible to be effective. Sleep itself moves toward repair on such a steady flow. Consider the body as a vessel that can ride on that current. No frantic paddling is required. I offer a simple visualization for when anxiety shows its face late in the night. Picture a narrow boat tied to a post. The boat rocks softly. Inside the boat, place a small lantern labeled Peace. Do not worry about the other items. Let them sit. The lantern's light is steady. It does not demand to illuminate every corner. It suffices to touch the immediate plank underfoot. In the imagination, untie the rope and let the boat drift on the calm water. Watch the land recede slowly. Nothing dramatic happens. The small motion makes a difference. There is a mercy to this peace. Mercy and peace are companions. Most nights, mercy tends the small injuries that bother the soul. Peace arrives to knit the edges together. Imagine hands working a fine seam. Each stitch is quiet and sure. No showy finish, just fitness for rest. If the mind expects revelation or spectacle, remind it that healing often looks like slow stitching. Celebrate the slow. If resentment keeps the mind alert, do not force reconciliation tonight. Peace can live beside unresolved things. It does not necessitate closure. It gives a space where the heart can breathe while the world sorts itself in time. Place the resentment gently in a corner of awareness. Leave it a book to be read another day. For now, let the heart's muscles relax around the soft center. The existence of tension will not cancel out the presence of peace. I slow my reading further. Words become gestures more than arguments. They shape the room with softer borders. The lamp shrinks to a companion star. The pages whisper under my fingers as if they, too, want to lean. Keep the eyes soft. If they close, that is welcome. If they remain open, let them see shapes rather than details. Edges should blur. The mind benefits from less definition. A brief practice for the ears. Tune into the low sounds that are steady, the hush of air. The house is breathing. A far-off machine's gentle hum. Layer the inner word peace over each sound. Let the word be a thread that ties external noise to inner calm. The pairing teaches the nervous system to expect rest even when the world makes small noises. Quiet is not always possible. Peace can still be present. Do not strive for perfection in feeling this peace. The heart will bounce between calm and worry like a pebble in a shallow pool. Each return to peace is real work. Reward each return with a small recognition inside. Acknowledge the movement. A small smile in the imagination suffices. The mind is learning a new habit. Habits need practice, not pressure. If sleep does not come quickly, that is also tenderly accepted. Stay present with the body, without narrating all its discomforts. Notice sensations with an unhurried curiosity. Are the feet warm or cool? Is the breath high or low? Describe these quietly in the mind as if reading the weather of the body. Weather shifts. Tonight's climate does not last forever. One small phrase to carry peace. Not as absence, but as presence. Repeat it softly when the night threatens to splinter attention. Make it a tether. The phrase, need not be elaborate. Keep it simple and true. Use it as a lullaby until the muscles remember ease. A minute now to let a single image sit. Imagine a willow tree at the edge of a still pool. Its long branches brush the water, and the ripples spread outward in gentle circles. The willow does not demand anything of the pool. It leans and rests. Watch the circles, reach the shore, and fade. Let that rhythm find its place in the chest. I pause and let the room breathe with the image. This is a listening exercise more than an instruction. The willow and the pool are evidence that motion can be calm. The ripples are real but not frantic. They carry stories and then settle. The heart can imitate that pattern. When the mind wanders to tasks unfinished, allow a soft reordering. Pick one small thing that must be tended in the morning. Make a brief plan of a single next step. Then close the mental folder. The small planning helps the mind trust that action exists without needing immediate execution. Place the plan gently on a shelf in the imagination. Let the shelf be secure. Before closing this portion of the night, return the palm to the breastbone. Rest there for a few breaths. Feel the slow beating. Recognize it as an ally. Appreciate the steady work of life within. Whisper the inner word peace to the heartbeat, and let the two rhythms align. Time does the rest from here. I mark the page and fold the corner. The lamp grows faint. I will hold this silence with you for a while. The promise of peace remains in the room. It does not require performance. It only asks that the body relax its guard a little. Let tonight be an evening when the whisper is trusted. I will return again to read with you. For now, take this small assurance. Close, peace is given. It is not earned, and it is not contingent on tidy endings. Rest in that gentle truth. Allow sleep to come when it chooses. I remain here in the dim, breathing with you, until the hush feels like a home. The lamp is a low witness. The Bible rests on my knee. I touch the page and breathe with you. Tonight I read a short passage slowly in my own words. It speaks about a strange promise. It says that hardship is not wasted. Hardship shapes a patient endurance. Endurance forms a quiet strength of character. Character brings a steady hope. That hope does not disappoint. Love pours into the heart like a slow, warm current. I do not make this a sermon. I keep it simple. The words are an image more than an argument. Think of a rough road that a traveler knows by touch. Each footfall wears the path. Each step teaches a balance. Over time, the traveler gains a sure stride. The journey does not make the traveler careless. It makes the traveler steady. This is the sense of the passage. Suffering makes a kind of learning. The learning creates a hope that lasts. I tell a story now. It is small and slow. It is not about sudden triumphs. It is about slow mending. Years ago, in a town by a river, a woman named Mara keeps a small bakery. The ovens live near the back wall. The morning light arrives through a single, narrow window. Flour dust falls like soft snow. Her bread feeds the few who rise early. The town knows the smell. The town trusts the rhythm. One winter, the river swells. It comes from the mountains. After a long thaw, Rain and snow mix. The water rises faster than anyone expects. That night, Mara watches from her doorway as the street changes shape. The bakery is a low house, and the water comes into the room like a slow, unwelcome tide. Dough and medicine tins float. The oven's heat cools. The next morning the town stands quiet and raw. Mara spends the day cleaning. She lifts wet rugs and swings open the door wide. She finds the mixing bowls and stacks them in the sun. The shelves are empty of bread. The oven feels like a fallen bell. Friends from the street bring what they can. They offer warm jackets. A dry loaf from a neighbor who had spare flour. Small things that steady the chest. The town gathers in a way that is not loud. People exchange small medicines. A pot of soup. A broom held in 2 hands. Work begins slowly. The oven needs a stone realigned. A cracked brick must be replaced. The wooden counter leans at an odd angle. Mara knows the tools. But the work is heavy. The money is thin. The insurance is a long wait. Each evening she sits and folds her hands and listens to the house breathe. The fear comes in quiet visits. It comes like a draft. She keeps coming early the next morning. She lights a small burner just to warm the hands. She mixes a test dough. Only a little. The first loaf is dense and awkward. It does not rise well. She tastes it, and it is honest. It is bread made from the bones of the day. She does not judge it harshly. She allows the failure its small space. Neighbors notice the routine. A man who repairs roofs brings a trowel and works with care on the oven's outer stones. A teenager who used to loaf around brings a brush and learns how to sweep the hearth. An older woman carries in jars of yeast she has saved. The town gives tools and time. No one speaks of grand plans. They work as if they are folding a blanket together. One morning, after many small attempts, Mara bakes a loaf that rises like a patient hill. The crust sings a tiny song. The smell moves down the street. People come slowly to the door, not as an audience, but as neighbors, visiting a friend. Each person takes a piece. They whisper thanks without ceremony. The bread feeds small relief. This mending is not a bright headline. It is careful persistence. It is the same persistence the passage names. Each small failure produces a step of endurance. Each step of endurance teaches a different kind of doing. The doing becomes character. The character becomes hope that steadies the town. I slow down and invite you to breathe into this with me. Imagine warm flour under your palms. Feel a dough that is cool and elastic. Press it gently. Fold. The motion is simple and exact. It does one small piece of mending at a time. With each fold, notice how the hand learns to be patient. Let the fingers adopt the rhythm. This slow work is not flashy. It is enough. Mara's story changes more than her oven. A child who once slowed at the bakery now learns to rise early and sweep. A lonely man finds purpose in carrying water. The town's rhythm shifts by inches, not leaps. The change is steady and kind. The small acts add until the shape of life looks different. The fear that once sat like a heavy stone moves to the margin. It does not vanish, but it is less central. I tell this tale because the passage offers a similar pattern. The tough moments are not meaningless. They are soil that encourages a slow growth. The growth is not a showy sprout. It is a root that finds purchase. Or a team. The root supports a tree. The tree gives shade. The hope that rises is not a wish. It is a steady expectation grounded in new character. That expectation does not disappoint. Another key detail appears. Redemption here is gentle. It is not a sudden reversal where troubles erase themselves. Redemption comes as neighbors stitch life back together. A small boy learns how to measure flour. An older baker returns to teach a trick with steam. The town does not forget the flood. They remember it in the quiet place where neighbors sit and speak of small defeats and small recoveries. The memory becomes a map of survival, not a chain of shame. Now, breathe with an image. See a small window in the bakery and the steam fogging the glass. A person wipes the pane with a warm hand and sees their face there, softer than before. The fog clears. The view is modest. The street. A lamppost. A woman carrying a basket. The view is enough. Let it rest on the chest like a soft palm. Perseverance often looks like returning to the place of work. It is not dramatic. It may be a daily choice to rinse a bowl, to sweep a floor, to try again. That steady return shapes a life. Character grows in repetition. Hope grows from the habit of rising after failings. The process is not a harsh schoolmaster. It is more like a gardener who tends a bed for many seasons. The gardener does not hurry the plants. He waters and waits and learns where to prune. I pause and ask for a small practice. Think now of one modest task you can return to tomorrow. Keep it tiny. Maybe it is a single message to send. Maybe it is washing a single pot. The purpose is not to finish the world. It is to practice the motion of return. Practice breeds steadiness. The passage also speaks of hope that is born of the Spirit poured into hearts. In the story, that is the sense of a warmth between people. It is not noise. It is a presence in the room. It is the neighbor who brings yeast. It is the teenager who learns to sweep. It is the small loaf shared without speech. The warmth is real, and it shapes a trust that extends beyond the bakery. I keep my voice low. The night listens. The tale folds into the room like an extra blanket. Hope here is not a demand to be strong. It is an invitation to be steady. It says that small acts matter. It says that work of the hands repairs more than objects. It repairs the ways people trust one another. There is a moment in the story when Mara stands at the doorway in spring. The bakery smells of yeast and lemon. Her hands are calloused but calm. Sunlight moves across the floorboards. She watches the street. The smile that comes is not loud. It is a soft settling in the face. She feels redemption as a quiet return to purpose. She recognizes how the town's small kindnesses shaped her endurance. She knows how that endurance taught a new way of life. Let that image sit near the heart. The scene does not need flourish. It simply asks the body to trust small steps. If heaviness rises in the night, remember the loaf that first failed and then succeeded. Remember the neighbor who offered a trowel. These small things matter. They change the shape of a life. Before I close, A gentle instruction. Place a hand on the chest where the heart warms. Breathe slowly for 5 counts. With each inhale, imagine placing a small stone of worry into a basket. With each exhale, imagine setting one stone down and taking a tiny step forward. Repeat until the breath finds a steady beat. This motion is like Mara's hands folding dough. It trains the body to return calmly. I fold the story now into a promise. Suffering may visit. It may be lonely and raw. But the pattern the scripture names holds. Difficulty produces endurance. When we keep coming back, endurance forms a consistent character. Character births a hope that does not disappoint. Love pours into the heart and stays. It is slow work, but it is real. The lamp dims a fraction more. The book settles. I will stay with this hush for a little while. Let the story of slow mending be with you as you drift. Let the image of warm bread and careful hands remind you that small acts matter. Sleep, when it comes, repairs more than tired muscles. It repairs the soul's habit of returning. I will come back with another story. For now, breathe and rest in the quiet hope that's steady. Patient work brings. The night keeps watch. The love poured in moves through the dark like a soft current. Let it carry you towards sleep. I settle with the book on my lap. The lamp is near. The page catches a small pool of light. I bring a quiet passage into the room. I do not cite words like a slogan. I let the sense of them rest beside us. The passage I hold tonight says simply that presence is the promise. It says, do not be afraid, because someone walks with you. It says, do not be dismayed, because the presence stands near. It promises strength and help, a steady hand that will not let go. I say it slowly, as if setting bread on a table. The meaning is what matters. Let it rest in the ear like soft rain. Imagine that presence as a lamp beside the bed. It does not glare. It steady lights the room. Shadows remain, but they have new borders. The lamp does not chase every shadow away. It warms the places that fear usually hides. Let the lamp be a picture for this promise. Let its light be patient and without hurry. Feel the body where it is most tense. Often the chest tightens, the shoulders brace, the jaw holds a small argument with the night. Place one hand there, press with a light. Deliberate tenderness. Breathe slowly. Name the pulse under the palm. The hand on the chest is a tiny witness. The presence the passage assures is like that hand near, steady and sure. I suggest a short practice. Breathe in for 3 slow counts. Hold for 1. Breathe out for 4. On the out-breath, imagine a simple phrase, not a lecture, not an explanation, but a small truth, some phrase that fits your feeling tonight. Let it be not too clever. Keep it as a small knot to tie the thought to the body. Say it inside. Once for each long exhale. Repeat until the breath feels softer. The promise also speaks of being upheld. Picture a hand at the small of the back. It steadies rather than lifts. It allows balance to return. The hand does not carry the whole load. It simply keeps the spine from folding. Visualize that gentle support, as if someone walks close on a narrow path and does not rush ahead. The closeness is enough. There is comfort in knowing that presence is not conditional. It does not demand a perfect answer. It does not wait for a long apology before it comes near. Think of a neighbor who arrives with bread, whether or not the house is tidy. The bread itself is not a lecture. It is a kindness that meets need. Let that ordinary kindness describe what is promised here. Presence arrives, simply because presence is what is given. Do not confuse presence with absence of trouble. Trouble still visits. The rain still falls. The promise is not a promise of empty days. It is a promise of accompaniment during storms. Imagine a small boat on a wide river with a skilled helmsman nearby. The waves roll. The craft rocks. The helmsman keeps hands on the lines and watches the stars. The craft does not vanish from difficulty. It gets steered. When fear wakes in the middle of the night, there are small things to do. Place the feet on the floor. Notice the contact, solid wood. Carpet. Kultile. Name the sensation softly in the mind. Let the body know that gravity is still kind. Then breathe and imagine the presence near the feet as well as the heart. Presence is not only a comfort above, it is the ground beneath. I read this promise as a reminder that we are known. The knowledge is not a cold report. It is an intimate acquaintance. Think of a friend who knows the ways you frown when tired and loosens the conversation before it grows sharp. That kind of knowing is compassionate. It notices without counting faults. That manner of noticing is what steadies the night. A brief image, a path lined with low lanterns. Each lantern gives a step of light. Walk along that path slowly in the imagination. Do not hurry. Let the path be the shape of tonight's small tasks. Each lantern marks a place where a burden can be set down for a time. Place one burden at the foot of each lamp. The lamps do not carry the burdens away all at once. They simply make the place safe to leave them. Notice how the walk grows lighter. Remember also that presence often comes through other people. A letter, a phone call, a quiet cup of tea. If a neighbor or friend has been a small lamp for you before, imagine them as a link in the chain of presence. Let their kindness be evidence that you are not alone in the world's tending. If no one is near, the same promise still holds. The light is not taken away because of distance. The passage promises strength. Strength in this sense is quiet. It is not a shout of vigor. It is a returning to small motions. It looks like steady hands folding a blanket or a calm footstep across a kitchen floor at dawn. Strength arrives in habits. The promise helps the habits form. Overnights, the body remembers how to relax. The mind learns a new path to rest. If worry feels like a knot, do not try to untie it all at once. Place one finger under the loop and breathe. Give the knot a tiny tug and then wait. Small movements change shape. The presence the passage assures does not demand immediate fixing. It offers time and space for slow work. There is a gentle line in the text that says not to fear, because help is near. Picture a keeper who watches a gate. The keeper has no hurry to prove anything. The keeper notices the faces that pass. The keeper remembers names. The keeper's attention is steady. Let that image rest beside your own house. The gate is not locked by judgment. It is simply guarded by care. Sometimes presence looks like a promise kept through years, a hand that once steadied, still steadies, a voice that once guided still speaks. The memory of that steadiness becomes an anchor for the present. Pull on the rope of that memory tonight. Let it hold. Do not demand fireworks. Quiet constancy is the true miracle. A short exercise for the small hours if wakefulness rises. Do not toss into problem solving. Instead, make a list of 3 small, solvable things to attend to in the morning. Keep them tiny. Write them down, or say them softly in the mind. Then imagine laying them on a table. The table is under the lamp of presence. Leave them there. The act of naming moves worry from the rolling room of the mind to a safe surface. The promise also says strength will be supplied as needed. Think of a traveler's pack that lightens in mysterious ways. Small stones slip from the bottom seam. The pack does not become weightless overnight. It grows lighter by the slow help of a hand that unthreads a stitch now and then. The help is not always visible. That is okay. Trust in steady measures. There is a tenderness to the idea of being upheld by a righteous hand. Righteousness here is not a sharp principle. It is a rightness that steadies like a beam placed under a sagging floor. The beam supports without boast. It does not judge the wear. It simply keeps the room safe. Imagine that beam quietly doing its work beneath the floorboards of the heart. When temptation to anxiety nips at the edges, name the sensation briefly. Say inside, "This is tension." Breathe into it. See it as a visitor, not a permanent resident. Offer the visitor tea and a chair to rest in. Do not let anxiety become the householder. The presence that the passage promises invites it to be a guest instead. There is also a practice for gratitude tucked into this presence. Each night, name one small kindness from the day. It can be as humble as clean socks or a bird on the windowsill. Say thanks quietly. The act of noticing and thanking tightens the thread between night and sleep. Gratitude is not a performance. It is a small recognition that good things, however small, are present. If grief sits heavy, know that presence does not remove the grief at once. It sits beside it. Imagine 2 people on a long bench, one holding a small lamp, the other holding a faded photograph. Neither rushes the other. They keep company. The lamp makes the photograph less sharp and more woven into a story rather than a wound. That slow weaving is mercy. I read to you now in this room, with the lamp. The verse is not merely text on a page. It is a companion put into words. It is a hand that writes a welcome on the inside of the door. Let that welcome be the last thing you feel before sleep. Slow the breathing a little. Rest the hand on the sternum if it is not there. Breathe in for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. Name the presence in your mind without argument. Let the naming be gentle. Let it be short. The word need not be elaborate. Keep it simple and return to breath. Before I close this part, one small invitation. If worry wakes you later, repeat a short pattern of breath and image. Breathe in and imagine a lamp near the bed. Breathe out and imagine a hand steadying the back. Repeat until sleep reclaims the muscles. The practice is gentle and repeatable. It does not require mastery. Only return. I mark the page and let the lamp soften. The room becomes a small harbor. The promise of accompaniment remains. It is not a promise of ease only, but of company through the hard parts. Rest under that company tonight. I will stay in the dim for a moment, breathing with you. When the eyes close, let the last picture be a path lit by patient lamps. Let someone walk there beside you, silent but steady. This presence keeps watch. It will not fail. Let that truth hold the night. For now, breathe, rest, and sleep in the quiet confidence of being accompanied. Tomorrow's tasks can wait. Tonight the promise is near, and the hand that steadies is not absent. Trust that, and let the hush take you. The lamp is still low. The Bible lies open but quiet. I sit and breathe with you. My voice moves slowly. Tonight I bring a passage that asks us to let go. It does not condemn the worry. It teaches a practice of gentle surrender. I speak it in my own words. Do not be anxious. It says, instead, bring each worry to prayer. Name it. Ask. Give thanks at the same time. Let gratitude walk with petition. Then a guard of peace comes. That peace keeps watch around the heart and the mind. It is not a noise or a claim. It is a quiet keeping that steadies the night. Listen with the body. Put a hand lightly on the sternum. Feel the small movement there. That is the place worry crowds into. Breathe in so the hand lifts a little. Breathe out and let the hand settle. Make the out-breath longer by a count. Let the ribs release. The breath is a hinge. Use it to open a slow space between thought and feeling. Begin with small naming. Choose one worry that sits closest. Now, keep it modest. A single item is enough. Hold it gently in the mind. Do not argue with it. Do not give it a list of reasons to stop. See it as a letter folded into the palm. The act of noticing is a kind of honesty that does not argue. Now, imagine a small postbox at the edge of a quiet lane. The slot is narrow and simple. When you are ready, fold the letter once more. Place it into the postbox in your imagination. Hear the soft thud as it drops. Close the little door. The postbox is watched by kindness. You do not need to carry the letter until someone tells you to. You have done a small practical thing. That small act eases the shoulders. If naming feels too sharp, try a softer method. Picture a lamp in a courtyard. Each worry is a paper lantern. Inflate one lantern gently. Tie it with a short string. Carry it to the edge of the courtyard. Hold it there for a moment. Say, in the quiet of your mind, this is what I hold. Now release the string and let the lantern rise. Watch it drift and fold into the night. You do not have to travel with it anymore. Both images are a kind of offering. The passage invites an offering in words and in thankfulness. So after placing the letter or releasing the lantern, turn toward a small thing from today that brought some warmth. It can be soft, a warm cup, a brief smile, a moment of stillness. Choose one. Give thanks quietly for that one thing. The act of gratitude is like tightening a knot that secures the letting go. Prayer does not have to be long. Keep it short and honest. Say the one need. Say the one thanks. Use the breath between the two. Let each phrase be a slow stone set on a low wall. The wall does not need to be tall. It only needs to hold the present. Now, allow the image of peace to come. Do not expect something loud. Imagine instead a ring of low hedges around a small garden. The hedges are trimmed with care. They do not keep the weather out, but they mark a place of cultivation. Inside the ring, the air feels steadier. The plants there breathe more easily. The hedges are a gentle guard. The peace of the passage looks like that hedge. It surrounds rather than smothers. Feel the guarding like a subtle pressure at the edges of the chest. It is not heavy. It is a mild firmness that says safety. The mind can rest against that margin. When intrusive thoughts rise, the hedge does not fight them. It simply reminds them where to go. The nervous system answers to such borders. Muskelshaften. If anxiety wakes later, use a two-step practice. First, notice the worry without judgment. Name it in a sentence no longer than a single breath. Second, make a small act of thanks. Name one simple good. Let the two actions connect by a single inhalation and a longer exhalation. The repetition trains the body to move from agitation into steadiness. The mind learns a new choreography. The passage promises that this peace will guard both heart and mind. The guarding is an action, not just a mood. Picture a quiet watchtower by a slow river. The watcher there does not shout. The watcher keeps a lamp, notes the night, and closes the gate when it is time. The watcher's job is steadiness. Let that image stand near you. Its work is to hold, not to overwork. The peace it gives is practical and patient. Do not mistake this for indifference. Releasing anxiety is not pretending nothing matters. It is making room to handle what matters without the body in revolt. Imagine the hands of a craftsman. When they are clenched, carving is clumsy. When they are relaxed, the work can be precise. The practice of prayer and gratitude loosens the hands so work can be faithful tomorrow. A small breathing pattern helps. Breathe in for 3 slow counts. Hold 1. Breathe out for 5. On the out-breath, imagine sliding a small paper into the postbox or watching the lantern drift. Repeat the cycle until the heart rate eases. The breath is a bridge. Do not expect silence at once. Expect a slight easing. Praise each small easing by naming it inside softer. Steadier. Yet, if thoughts return with force, try another small image. Picture a knitting wheel, turning slowly. Each anxious thought is a thread unwinding for a moment. The wheel does not snap. It takes the thread and gently rolls it back into a neat basket. The motion is slow and deliberate. The hand that rolls does not scold. It simply gathers. Let the mind learn to return the threads in this way. Sometimes anxiety feels like a tight knot behind the sternum. Do not try to unpick it at once. Place fingertips lightly at the throat. Breathe into that place. Imagine a warm water flow pouring over the knot. It does not untie the knot with speed. It eases the tension around it. Overteam, not soften. Night is a gentle agent of time. The passage invites us to take our requests to prayer. It also insists on thanksgiving with those requests. The link is important. Gratitude does not deny need. It reframes it. When thanksgiving walks with petition, the heart sees a pattern larger than the immediate ask. That pattern is a scaffolding for trust. Trust does not replace planning. It supports planning. Here is a small exercise for the middle of the night. If an urgent worry wakes the mind, stand up slowly, if it helps. Feel the soles of the feet on the floor. Say the worry's name once. Then say one small thing you are grateful for. Place the two together, worry and thanks, into a mental envelope. Close it. Place it on a shelf in your mind's room. Walk back to bed. Lie down and breathe. Forgiveness and release sometimes belong in the same room. If a worry carries shame or blame, let the act of naming be accompanied by a soft sentence of forgiveness toward yourself. A single simple phrase in the mind will do. Do not elaborate. Keep the phrasing short and kind. Forgiveness is not a performance. It is a steady unhooking. The night is not a place for long arguments. The passage suggests a short practice instead. Prayer is like sending a clear message. Gratitude is like signing the message. Then, let the guarding of peace receive it. This sequence is practical. It trains the body to trust that things can be handled with less clenching. If worry grows persistent, it is right to plan a small next step for the morning. Write it down if you can. A single line on a notebook eases the mind because it moves responsibility into time. The act of scheduling tomorrow does not mean abandoning rest tonight. It is a small offering to the day to come. Leave it on the bedside table and return to the breathing practice. We keep the language simple. The mind responds better to clear, small instructions than to long arguments. Keep the phrases in the mind short. Use one or two words that calm, peace, steadiness. Enough. Repeat them on the out-breath. Let them become small anchors. If you feel alone in this practice, imagine a lamp lit down the corridor of your life. It is lit by a steady hand. It does not require applause. The lamp only needs to burn. Let its light reach for a moment into the bedroom of the heart. Let that reaching be enough to take the edge off the worry. There is a tenderness here. The promise does not say everything will be tidy. It says the heart and mind will be kept. That keeping is a kind of mercy. Mercy sees the mess and does not leave it unvisited. Mercy comes with tools that are quiet breath. Naming. Gratitude. Use those tools tonight. They are light and reliable. Now a final practical practice before I close this part. Place one hand over the heart. Close the eyes if that feels good. Breathe in slowly for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. Name one worry on the in-breath. Name one small gratitude on the out-breath. Do this 5 times. Do not rush. Let the rhythm form like a low drum in the chest. When the 5 breaths finish, let the body rest. Keep the hand there as a reminder that the heart has been seen. The postbox remains closed. The lanterns float on. The hedge keeps watch. The peace that guards is gentle. Let it do its work without your constant supervision. I will stay in the dim while you breathe for a few more moments. The lamp will not go out suddenly. The book will remain where it is. If sleep comes, receive it without haste. If wakefulness lingers, return to the little practice's name. Give thanks. Breathe. Release. The pattern is simple. Repetition makes it easier. Before I move on, remember this offering the worry is not abandoning care. It is an act of trust that steadies the hands for tomorrow. The peace that follows is not a promise of perfect calm. It is a pledge of steady keeping. Rest in that steady keeping tonight. I close this part with a soft pause. Breathe in once more. Breathe out. Let the last thought be small. I bring this. I thank for that. Peace keeps watch. Let that assurance carry the night. I will remain in the dim until the hush feels like home. The lamp is low. The book rests where the light finds it. I sit with you and breathe. Tonight, I hold a passage in my mind that speaks of grace. I do not quote it as a lesson. I let its sense settle beside us like a soft lamp. It says, in a simple way, that grace is enough when we are weak. Grace meets the weakness and makes a kind of strength that does not look like the world's strength. Let that be the small frame for this hour. Grace is like a slow river that passes through ordinary days. It does not rush. It moves steady and sure. Imagine a narrow stream running through a town. The stream is not a torrent. It waters one garden at a time. Each plant drinks quietly. The stream does not insist on being noticed. It only keeps doing what water does. Think of grace that way. It comes into the small parts of life. It meets the place where hands work, where patience thins, where hearts tire. Begin with a morning practice. Before the day begins, sit with the lamp and the book a moment. Breathe in slowly for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. Say inside, simply, grace. Do not make claims. Do not rush into proofs. Invite the word like a visitor. The voice need not be loud. It is a simple opening of the heart. Ask quietly that grace would move into the first small task of the day. Imagine the stream moving into the morning kettle, warming it, making the steam less sharp. The day begins with water that steadies. Invite grace into the small chores, washing a plate, tying a shoelace, sending a brief message. Before each action, take a single breath and offer a short inner phrase, grace. Meet this. Make it modest. The phrase is not a ritual that earns favor. It is a habit that trains the hands to work with gentleness. The small pause suspends haste. The motion resumes with less edge. In time, these tiny pauses thread through the day like lights along a path. At work, grace looks different. It may be patience when a plan unravels. It may be a softening of the voice when correction feels sharp. If the day brings criticism or failure, try a small practice. Place the palm lightly over the sternum. Breathe down into the place where the chest tightens. On the out-breath, imagine a cool, steady presence loosening the grip of strain. Let the word grace be a small anchor grace for this moment. Repeat it twice. Each repeat is a gentle unbending. Grace is also for the messy parts. When a mistake is made, when a harsh word leaves the mouth, do not first rush to repair everything. Sit with what happened for one slow breath. Name the thing with honesty. No long list. No condemnation. The act of naming is not a self-attack. It is a clear placing of the need. Then offer one phrase of request and one of gratitude. Ask for help to do the next right thing. Give thanks for a small mercy that remains. The pair is a simple pattern that invites grace to shape the repair. Relationships can be a place where grace grows most quietly. Imagine two gardeners sharing one small fence. Each tends their plot. Sometimes roots tangle across the border. Instead of cutting sharply, put down a tool for a breath. Consider a single gentle question, not to solve, but to invite. Grace often appears as the willingness to listen without immediate defense. Practice a breathing rhythm together for a minute, eyes soft, hands relaxed. Let the breath be the shared meter that remembers both hearts. The practice needs not be spoken aloud. It is a small offering. Grace goes into failure as much as into success. When plans fail, let the morning practice return. Sit at the bedside or by a sink. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 6. With each out-breath, imagine a slow lamp being lit in the room of the heart. The lamp does not fix the broken plans. It simply makes them visible and less frightening. The light shows the next small step. Take that step if it is needed. If not, set the thought on a shelf and rest. There is a particular kindness in inviting grace into decisions. If a choice feels heavy, do not try to decide in a whirl. Make a small pause. Write down 2 options. No paragraphs. Just a word or 2 for each. Close the notebook. Breathe 3 times. Ask quietly for grace to guide the hand and the heart. Then choose the next simple, doable thing. The important point is not to decide perfectly. It is to decide without the clutch of fear. Grace loosens the grip of panic that pushes for impossible answers. Meals are a place of grace too. Before eating, hold the utensil a moment and let the eyes rest on the plate. Offer a soft inward thanking for the food and for the hands that prepared it. The gratitude need not be elaborate. It is simply a way to let grace enter the common act of eating. The body notices such quiet pauses. The muscles that brace to protect soften. Food is a small mercy when accepted with a mindful pause. When the evening comes and the lamp is nearly low, review the day in a kind way. Choose one small thing that went well and one small thing that did not. Hold them both in a quiet hand. Do not make a list of all faults. Keep the inventory short. Say a 2-line prayer inside a request for help and a thank you for mercy. Let grace take those items. Imagine the river carrying them along without scorn. The act of handing over is a practice of trust, not an escape from responsibility. Grace does not erase the need for honest work. It nudges how the work is done. Picture a seamstress easing a stubborn thread through fabric. Her hands do not yank. They coax. The thread yields slowly. Similarly, grace helps the body and mind to work with things that require persistence. When weariness rises, allow the hands to fold a garment of that day's cares. Fold gently. Lay it on a neat stack. That small sorting teaches the nervous system to trust ordered care rather than frantic rearrangement. A short breathing practice helps invite grace into the night. Place one hand over the heart and the other on the belly. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts, feeling the belly rise. Breathe out for 6, feeling the chest settle. As you breathe out, say inside the word grace on the exhale. Let it fall softly into the room like a feather. Repeat for 5 cycles. This is not a test of faith. It is a way to let the body feel that something gentler walks with it when the mind wants to be alone with worry. If weakness appears, as it sometimes does, do not see it only as failure. See it as the place grace chooses. There is a truth in the idea that strength sometimes grows out of small, quiet weakness held by kindness. The body that is honest about its limits learns to ask for help. Practice asking for small help tomorrow. Send a short note. Make a brief call. Let a neighbor know you would welcome company. Asking is not a sign of failing. It is an invitation for grace to act through others. Grace also shapes how we speak to ourselves. If the inner voice grows sharp, imagine an older friend putting a gentle hand over that voice. Do not argue back with fury. Offer one short corrective phrase. This is not all of me. Say it without flourish. Repeat it once more while breathing. Small. Steady corrections change the inner tone more than long self-accusations. A gentle invitation for the middle of the night if waking brings a rush of thoughts. Keep a small notebook by the bed. Write one line, no more, about what urges attention in the morning. It can be as simple as a name or a task. Close the notebook. Breathe out and imagine placing the page into a quiet drawer. The act of writing is a way of letting grace find a handhold. It moves the worry from thinking into something that can sit and wait. Grace also works through hospitality. When a cup of tea is shared, let the offering be simple and unafraid. Do not feel the need to perform. Let the cup be enough. Conversation can be short and honest. The presence of mutual care often speaks more clearly than long explanations. Practice offering small comforts without expecting grand reciprocation. Before sleep, return to the lamp and the book for one more slow breath. Rest the fingertips lightly on the paper. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 5. Offer a final, quiet phrase, grace for now. Let the phrase be the last small thing heard before the mind drifts. The lamp dims slowly. The phrase stays like a residue of light on the skin of the room. If tears come, allow them. Grace is present in the wetness of the eyes as much as in the ease of the muscles. Tears are not failure. They are a part of letting the river clean the stones. Let the body do its slow work. The presence you invited is not surprised. It tends, not criticizes. I am the one who reads this book beside you tonight. My voice is steady and soft. I will stay a few more moments in the dim. If sleep comes, I will let the pages close gently. If wakefulness lingers, Return to the practices, a single breath, a soft naming, a small gratitude. Grace moves into life, not as a dramatic rescue, but as a steady inflow into the ordinary places. In the morning, as the light returns, consider a brief practice to carry grace into the day. Open a window if you can. Breathe the cool air and say a short phrase, grace for my hands. Walk slowly into the day. Let the rhythm be calm. Tonight, let the simple thought settle. Grace is available for the small things. It comes into kitchens and offices, into conversations and failures, into decisions and rest. It is not a heavy thing that must be earned. It is a steady stream that can be invited with one honest breath. Trust the stream to flow. Let it wash something small and necessary. I close this part with a soft pause. Breathe with me once more. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. Whisper to the heart, grace, for now. Keep that phrase near as you move towards sleep. I will stay in this dim until the hush feels like home. We will continue tomorrow night. Taking grace along the quiet path, we walk together. The lamp is small and steady. The page rests on my knee. I open the book and let a phrase settle first as a feeling rather than an argument. Be kind to one another. Be tender at the heart. Forgive as you have been forgiven. The verse comes like a small instruction for the hands. It asks for gentleness in motion. I speak in the hush. My voice moves like a slow footstep. The room listens. Outside the house, night keeps its wide breath. Inside, the lamp keeps time. The invitation is clear. Simple acts of kindness heal what pride and hurt have broken. Compassion is a quiet repair. I tell a story now. It is slow and ordinary. It is not a sermon. It is a glimpse. On a street of narrow houses, two neighbors stop speaking after a sharp winter dispute. One is a woman who keeps a row of potted herbs on her sill. The other is a man who mends chairs in a small shed. They pass one another with curt nods and careful avoidance. The silence grows long. It lives like a small, cold room between two porches. One spring evening, after rain, the woman notices the man sitting on his steps with a splintered hand. He works through pain and pretends it is small. She remembers the time he left a pie on her doorstep during a cold spell. The memory is soft in her chest. She does something modest. She fills a small pot with tea that has lemon and a rosemary sprig from her sill. She wraps a cloth around the pot and sets it at the foot of his shed. On the cloth she places a small card with a simple sentence of kindness. She does not ask for reconciliation. She does not demand apology. The man finds the pot. He warms his hands and drinks slowly. The heat melts an edge of stubbornness. He does not have to explain or defend. He notices the rosemary and remembers the pie. In that remembering, a door unlatches. The next day, he brings a repaired chair to her porch without fanfare. He leaves it at her step and walks away. Neither speaks at the moment. The small exchange changes the shape of the silence. It does not erase the past, but it makes space for a different present. This is how compassion works. It does not always require a dramatic confession. It is a series of small movements that alter the landscape between two people. A kind act does not demand reciprocity. It offers room. That room allows wounds to breathe. The wound does not vanish at once. It becomes less raw. The heart learns to move again, without bracing. I keep my sentences simple as I guide the imagination. Picture the pot of tea warm in your hands. Feel the steam curl and cool on the skin. Drop your shoulders a little and let the breath follow the movement. Small warmth brings a softness to the muscles. Compassion often begins with listening. I do not mean elaborate counseling. I mean a willingness to stop and truly hear one short piece of another's story. A person speaks a single sentence. The listener gives attention, not judgment. The attention itself is a balm. It declares that the other is present and real. It says that pain matters. Listening reframes pain from something to be fought into something to be held. Try a gentle practice for the ears. Imagine sitting across from someone who is tired. The person speaks, and you count 3 slow breaths before replying. On breath 1, receive what is said. On breath 2, feel the shape of the emotion behind the word. On breath 3, respond in a small way that invites more not to solve, but to witness. This pacing trains the body away from hasty rebuttal. It encourages presence. Acts of compassion sometimes heal, even when words fail. A pot of soup handed at the door. A patch sewn into a coat. A quiet phone call with no agenda. These gestures contain dignity. They say loud things without speaking loud words. They rebuild trust through concrete help. The practical nature of such offerings grounds tenderness in reality. I offer a small scene to hold a child learns to tie a shoelace, and the thumb of a neighbor helps without fuss. The child feels steadied. The neighbor's hand is steady and patient. The child goes on with a lighter step. That small steadiness spreads. It is a tiny ripple that moves outward. Compassion also asks for honest boundaries. Healing is not the same as surrender to harm. Kindness does not mean permitting abuse. Often, the kind act will come framed by a clear boundary, a hand offered while a door is closed. Compassion without clarity can exhaust the giver, so the wise practice is to be gentle and firm at the same time. Offer help that does not require self-abandonment. I guide a short exercise for the hands. Place palms lightly together as if holding a small bird. Think of a relationship that needs healing. Imagine the bird there, fragile and anxious. Breathe slowly. Do not try to force a fix. Hold the small bird with care. The posture teaches tenderness without the need to solve everything at once. Release only when the bird seems less frantic. This image trains hands to act slowly and kindly. Forgiveness ties closely with compassion. In many wounds, a long ledger of grievance becomes the main thing kept. Compassion rewires the ledger. It does not erase the accounting of wrongs. It changes the tone of the entries. Instead of a list to punish, the ledger becomes a record to learn from. Forgiveness is a practice of letting some entries rest. It allows the heart to make room for future tenderness. This practice can be private and small. Think of one slight wrong you carry tonight. It may be recent. It may be old. Hold it in the mind like a pebble. Now imagine placing the pebble in a small bowl on a table. Do not take it apart. Do not plead or rehearse. Simply set it down. Breathe. The act of setting down is a practical move that invites compassion inwardly. It teaches the body to stop holding tension, as if it were a shield at all times. Compassion moves across time. Sometimes the first kind act does not produce immediate reconciliation. The first cup of tea may be left untouched. The first letter may remain unread. Yet the seed is sown. Compassion often works slowly through habit. One quiet step repeated becomes a path. The path invites returns. The other person may come closer in the future, or they may not. In both cases, the compassionate act is not wasted. It changes the giver, and that change matters for the whole community of the heart. I speak of small gestures because they are accessible tonight. The world does not demand grand measures. The night does not ask for dramatic displays. It asks for small, faithful steps. A short note left on a pillow, a hand that steadies a shoulder for a moment, a message that says, "I remember that you are tired." These acts are simple. They are also weighty. When anger rises in the middle of the night, use a gentle reordering. Picture the anger as a hot stone. You hold it in the palm and notice the heat. Then set it down on a safe place, a rock by a stream. A table in the mind. Step back and breathe. Put one hand over the heart and let the chest slow. The act of putting the stone down does not deny the hurt. It simply changes the relation to it. Compassion asks the heart to act kindly toward its own pain. A short practice follows. Rest a hand on the sternum. Take 3 slow breaths. On each in-breath, invite the name of the person who is difficult to forgive. Keep the name soft. On each out-breath, offer a small act in the imagination, maybe placing a bowl of soup at a porch, maybe sending a note, maybe setting a flower on a windowsill. The practice trains the mind to pair thought with a gentle, constructive motion rather than with scorn. Compassion also heals within families. Old hurts in families often shape how members meet. One quiet evening, a sibling may take an extra step by making breakfast for the household. The act does not erase old arguments. It interrupts the script that says, "Only grand gesture matters." It shows that daily care is a reliable means of repair. Or time. Shared, daily small kindnesses rewrite the rhythm of the home. Healing sometimes asks for courage. To be kind when watched by suspicion is a boldness. To offer help without preconditions is bravery. The courage here is not loud. It is simply the choice to be soft when hardness seems useful. That choice changes the tone of a life. It cultivates trust slowly. I invite a simple offering now. Think of one small act that can be done tomorrow. Keep it modest. Something doable before noon. A cup of coffee to a colleague. A brief note to a friend. A replacement bulb for a porch light. Plan it now. Write it on a small scrap. Sleep with that plan, like a lantern under a lid. It will not demand perfection. It will only ask for one gentle step. Compassion has a rhythm too. It comes in cycles of giving and receiving. Sometimes the need is to receive kindness. Let the body practice reception. If the hand of care arrives, do not measure what is owed. Accept it as a gift. Saying thank you plainly is itself an act of healing. Gratitude recognizes the kindness and allows it to change the heart. If regret lingers, place a soft hand on the place where regret feels most tight. Breathe. Offer a short internal phrase. I will do one small thing. Then plan a tiny action for the morning. The combination of intention and small motion is the medicine of mending. It is practical and humble. I slow my voice now. The room narrows to a few familiar sounds. The lamp throws a small circle. Compassion is a presence that matches the hush. It does not require grand proof. It appears in steady, humble gestures. A closing image will sit with this part. Imagine a bridge of short planks over a shallow stream. Two people meet in the middle and set down their packs. They do not carry the same load. They exchange a single plank of their burden. They walk on with lighter steps. The planks are not taken away entirely. They are shared. Shared weight moves easier. Before the lamp grows very dim, rest the fingers on the page. Breathe 3 slow breaths with me. On each out-breath, name a small kindness to offer tomorrow. Keep each choice brief. Let the mind hold the list like a gentle promise. Compassion begins with one small step and grows when repeated. I close this passage with one soft assurance. Mercy and kindness are not thin threads. They are strong stitches that can join torn cloth. The work is patient and unornamented. Healing follows the rhythm of small acts, repeated with honest hands. Sleep now in the knowledge that such acts are available and that the heart can learn to give and receive them. I will stay in the dim for a little while, breathing with the room. When the eyes close, let the last thought be a small kindness, offered and kept. Let it hold the night like a steady lamp. We will return tomorrow evening and continue our slow reading together. For now, rest. The quiet does its work. Compassion takes the first small steps toward mending. The lamp is low. The Bible sits open. I read aloud, slowly, a line that asks for patience and mercy between people. I say it in plain words. Bear with one another. Forgive as you have been forgiven. The sentence is small and steady. It is not a demand. It is a path. Tonight I speak about that path. I will call it the journey to reconciliation. The steps are simple. They are gentle. They move at a slow pace. Like a small procession across a quiet room, reconciliation means mending where things are torn. It happens inside a heart and between two hands. Step 1. Notice the wound. Be still enough to find the place that hurts. Sometimes the pain sits as a tightness in the throat. Sometimes it lives as a tireless thought. Name it with one short sentence. The naming is not a proclamation to the world. It is a small map for the heart. Say to yourself, this is what H is. Keep the voice soft. The single act of naming brings a small clearing in the mind. Step 2. Sit with the truth. Do not rush to fix. Let the feeling be seen and felt. A bruise needs air more than it needs force. Staying with the truth for a little while lets the nervous system quiet. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out longer. Let the body attend to what the mind has noticed. This waiting is a kind of courage. Step 3. Accept responsibility where it belongs. If a hurt comes from actions of your own, say so quietly inside. Confession is brief and clear. It is not a self-attack. It is a statement that lightens the load by shifting it out of hiding. If the hurt came from another, still own how the hurt lives inside. Responsibility does not mean taking blame for what was not yours to take. It means naming honestly what can be handed back or changed. Step 4. Offer and ask for forgiveness. That is a brave step. Forgiveness can be offered with a small gesture, a short note, a repaired shelf, a hand extended in calm. Sometimes the asking is private and humble. Sometimes it is public and careful. Keep it modest. Big speeches are not necessary. A clear small movement often speaks louder than a sermon. When the other cannot or will not respond, forgiveness remains a gift you give for your own heart. It loosens the hand that clenches the hurt. Step 5. Make amends when possible. Practical repair matters. If something was broken or taken, return it or replace it. If words were sharp, make a quiet correction in the next action. Restitution is concrete. It shows the will to mend. It is not a pound of proof. It is a small step of trust. Step 6. Set gentle boundaries. Reconciliation does not mean opening every door without care. A garden can have a gate that keeps certain animals out while inviting friends in. Boundaries keep the healing process safe. Say what is needed in short. Calm sentences. Protect the soft places while allowing small steps of return. A clear boundary is kindness to the future self. Step 7. Practice patience and repeat small kindnesses. Healing is often a series of ordinary days. A kind word in the morning. A small favor returned. One correct action after another. Like dropping pebbles into a pool. The ripples grow slowly. Over time, the new pattern becomes the ordinary pattern. That ordinariness is durable. Step 8. Invite others to help. Reconciliation seldom requires mediators, but sometimes they steady the process. A trusted friend, a kit elder, a small circle that listens. Their presence need not judge. It simply holds. People who care can make a room where truth and tenderness meet. They help names be spoken gently and actions be planned wisely. Step 9. Accept limits. Not every wound will be fully repaired in this life. Sometimes reconciliation is partial. Sometimes the other cannot return. Reaching toward peace can still be the right step. Let the goal be healing. Not complete error. A scar can remain without spoiling the skin's work. The scar itself tells a story of having been tended. Step 10. Reconcile with the self. Internal mending is as necessary as outward repair. Forgive the self for mistakes. Make small reparations like restful sleep. A correcting word. A dit franchise tomorrow. Write a brief letter to the self. Place it in a drawer. Come back to it in a week. If harsh judgments rise again, read the letter and remember the slow pattern of repair. Now, I offer a few gentle examples to place these steps into an ordinary life. A teacher has spoken sharply to a student in front of the class. The moment leaves both faces tight. The teacher notices after class. The next day, a small action is chosen. A short note is left on the student's desk. No long explanation. A clear apology. The teacher repairs the classroom routine by inviting the student to show a later work. The student accepts cautiously. Over weeks, the teacher chooses gentler words, and the student returns trust in quiet ways. The hard moment becomes a turning point toward a steadier tone in the room. A sister and brother carry an old argument about their father's estate. The pages of memory are heavy. They set a meeting at a neutral table with a friend who listens. Each names one regret, one need, and one boundary. Restitution happens in a small act, a shared list of responsibilities for the house. A plan for visiting. They do not erase the past. They choose to live better for the future. The presence of a third person keeps the steps honest and tender. A person wakes each night with self-blame about a decision. The practical steps begin at the bedside. The hurt is named. A single sentence of confession is spoken under breath. Then a small amending action is planned for morning. The person vows to call a friend, to return an email, to set a meeting. The act of planning moves the worry into time, away from the frantic room of the night. Each fulfilled small step becomes proof that repair is possible. Those are small stories. They are not dramatic. They show how steady, modest actions heal. I now guide a short, slow practice. It is safe to do this with eyes closed or softly open. Place one hand on the chest and the other on the thigh. Breathe in for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. On the first in-breath, name one wound gently. Keep the phrase short. On the out-breath, imagine placing that named hurt into a small bowl on a table before you. On the next in-breath, name one small step you can take toward repair. On the out-breath, imagine placing that step into the bowl beside the hurt. Repeat this cycle 3 times. Each placement is a small contract between memory and action. Do not rush. Let the body slow. Afterward, consider one practical thing for the morning. A note. A call. A small repair. A quiet visit. Keep it doable. The morning will hold it. The act will be small and steady. Let that promise live on the bedside table of the mind. A note about safety. Reconciliation should never require self-sacrifice that causes continued harm. If a relationship is dangerous, choose protection first. Healing can begin with a steadying of the body-safe space. A trusted helper. Medical or legal help if needed. Reconciliation grows from safety, not from pressure. Remember that true reconciliation reflects a larger love that bears with us. The passage I read says the same thing in a single line. It invites bearing with one another and forgiving as we have been forgiven. That picture matters because it frames the whole work. Forgiveness is not a solitary virtue. It is a shared pattern given to a weary world. I close this part with another short imagining. Picture a wooden table in a quiet room. On it sits a bowl. The bowl holds small stones. Each stone is a hurt. Nearby rests a small cloth, thread, and a needle. Take one stone in the hand. Wrap it gently in the cloth. Stitch a small seam. Lay the wrapped stone back in the bowl. The stitch is not a binding of the past. It is a tender keeping. Over time, many stones are stitched, and the bowl looks different. It carries proof of care. Breathe once more with me. Inhale softly. Exhale longer. Imagine one stitch completed this week. Hold the image lightly. Trust small actions more than grand plans. The work of reconciliation is patient. It moves by short steps. I close the Bible in a slow, careful way. The lamp softens. The room keeps its hush. Rest if sleep calls. If wakefulness remains, return to the simple steps. Name, wait, own, ask, repair, guard, repeat. Let the heart learn the gentle rhythm of mending. I will read again tomorrow night, and we will walk another quiet stretch of the path together. For now, let the steady promise of mercy keep the night. Shi, comfort in Scripture. I keep the lamp low. The book rests where the light finds it. Tonight I hold a single line in my mind. It says that a book can be a lamp to a path. The image fits the hour. A lamp and a path make sense in the dim. I open the page slowly. I do not rush the words. I let them land like small stones. The book is plain and steady. Its sentences are like a slow hand, placing light where feet will go. That is the comfort I read aloud. The passage is not a map filled with diagrams. It is a simple light upon a step. Imagine a narrow trail at dusk. The trees make long shadows. The sky keeps a thin blue. A single lamp sits on a post. Its circle of light is modest. It does not claim the whole world. It only makes the next few yards visible. That is enough. The next step matters most. The mind relaxes when it trusts one visible step at a time. Place your hand upon the book. Feel the paper. Feel the small weight of the volume. The gesture anchors the thought. Let your eyes rest on the lamp's glow. Let the breath slow. The book becomes a companion. Its steady sentence is like a familiar voice in the dark. This scripture guides like a lamp, because it shows what to attend to. It names small things that matter. A word about kindness, a short sentence about mercy, a single phrase that points the eye to a narrow truth. These are not loud commands. They are little lamps set along an otherwise confusing road. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the shimmer on the path. Do not argue with the stray thoughts. Watch them pass like clouds. Let the lamp remain. Keep the foot ready for the next safe step. This practice is not clever. It is simple and practical notice. Breathe. Take the next step. I speak in the present because that is where steps are taken. Memory helps. But the lamp answers now. It does not promise to remove all shadows. It promises a small, certain light. That light will not mislead. It will keep the feet from stubbing on unseen rocks. The promise is modest. That modesty is kind. There is a habit to build here. Keep a copy of the book near the bed. Read a short passage before sleep. Let the lines settle in the ears. A single verse can be a lantern for a night. Repeat it slowly. Say it in the mind if the voice grows too tired. The practice trains the heart to seek the lamp first, before rummaging in the dark. Considera quiet exercise. Close the eyes for a moment. Picture a narrow path in the mind. Place a lamp at your feet. Let the lamp glow the color you like, a warm amber. Not harsh, with every slow breath. Imagine the lamp extending its light, one small step forward. Breathe in, breathe out. See the light widen a hair. No hurry. Keep the pace slow and calm. Scripture also acts like a guide beyond the immediate step, when decisions loom and the night feels large. The book gives a rule of thumb. It points toward mercy. It points toward patience. It points toward simple kindness. These small moral lights are not complicated. They make choices clearer when the mind is fogged by fear. If worry rises, open the book and let the sentence sit near the forehead. You need not analyze it. Let it be a companion to the breath. Repeat a line in simple language. Let it match the rhythm of the chest. The body notices this concord. The lungs slow. Tension eases. The lamp and the breath work in company. I read the scripture not to win an argument. I read to make the room safer for sleep. The page becomes a slow hand that straightens the pillow. The language helps set a boundary against frantic thought. When night brings its sharp questions, the lamp offers a place to land. The questions do not vanish. They lean against the light and grow less urgent. Another gentle habit is memorizing a short line. Choose one phrase that feels true in the chest. Learn it like a lullaby. Say it quietly when the mind scrambles. The line is a portable lamp. It travels without the book. It lights the path in the middle of the night when waking is thin and thoughts are loud. Scripture's illumination is also a communal thing. Many voices have walked the same paths and carried the same lamp. The fact that others have found the light steady is a quiet encouragement. You are not inventing the route alone. There is company in the handful of words we return to again and again. Do not expect the lamp to banish every fear. It will not do that. It will simply keep a reliable topography when grief or doubt moves like a fog. The lamp still marks stones and roots. That marking is enough to allow the feet to move without panic. Small movement in the right direction is a form of healing. A small bedtime practice now. Lay the book where fingers can find it in the dark. Read one short sentence. Place a thumb beneath a particular line. Close the eyes. Breathe in slowly for 3 counts. Breathe out for 5. Let the book's light sit near the breastbone. If sleep takes the eyes, lid it. If thoughts remain, return to that single sentence and repeat it silently. Scripture also holds stories that act as gentle light. A shepherd tending sheep, a lamp in a window, a hand that reaches across a table. These images are not demanding. They are pictures that the mind can hold without struggle. Let them replace the harsh images of failure and hurry. The stories orient the heart toward care rather than blame. When doubts feel big, remind the mind of a narrow lantern rather than a floodlight. Focus on one short promise at a time. Take one small step. That is how the path is walked. One visible inch at a time. The lamp is faithful to each inch, As I read, I watched the room relax, shoulders lower, eyes soften. The small light on the page steadies the breathing. The house seems to align with the rhythm. The lamp's circle becomes a little home within the night. Keep that image as the last scene before sleep. I fold the page gently and close the book enough to keep the place. The light stays with us even when the cover rests. The lamp of Scripture is not only for large decisions. It is for small ways of living. It is for the gentle choices that soften a day into rest. Tonight, let the book be a lamp. Let it illumine the nearest step. Let it keep you steady. When the wakeful hours return, reach beneath the pillow and bring the light back. Read the lines slowly. Let it be the place the feet find first. The path becomes safer when we walk with a small, clear light. Sha'ah, finding sleep. I sit with the lamp dimmed further. The house breathes low. Tonight, I turn to the art of sleep. Sleep is not a prize to be chased. It is a habit of the body and the heart. I read a short passage that invites rest. I speak of simple steps that prepare the mind to receive sleep without force. First, set the room for ease. The lamp is already low. The book rests where fingers find it. Remove bright screens if possible. Let the sounds be ordinary. A clock. The soft hum of appliances. A distant street. Noise is not the enemy. Harsh light is. So keep light soft and warm. Next, attend to the body. The breath leads. Breathe in slowly. Fill the belly rather than the throat. Breathe out longer than you breathe in. This simple rhythm signals safety to the nervous system. Do not try to count endlessly. Keep the counts small and steady. 3 in, 5 out. Repeat until the muscles let go. Create a small ritual. Every night repeat it the same way. Close the book. Put the glass of water in the same place. Fold a blanket at the foot of the bed. The repetition trains the mind to recognize the moment as rest. Ritual is not magic. It is a reliable cue that calms the senses. When thoughts press, do not wrestle them. Offer them a seat and a small task. Imagine placing each worry on a tray. Label the tray with the time morning, afternoon. Slide the tray onto a shelf in the mind. Close the little door. The action need not be perfect. It simply relocates the noise into future space. Use a short phrase to anchor the mind. Choose 2 or 3 words that carry truth for you. Keep them simple mercy holds. Lamp guides. Safe here. Repeat the phrase slowly on the out-breath. Make it soft. Let it be a lullaby for the thinking mind. The practice is small and easy to repeat. If the body aches or tension sits in the jaw, try a small check-in. Soften the jaw. Let the tongue rest behind the front teeth. Release the shoulders from the ears. Let the hands lie open on the blanket. These small adjustments tell the body that it is not in readiness for battle. It may relax. A short visual helps. Picture à qui est chaud at dusk. You sit near the edge. A single lamp is placed nearby. Waves lap softly. The current does not hurry. Watch the water and the light. Let each breath match a small ripple. This image is not dramatic. It is steady and plain. Keep it close. When the night brings sadness, allow it a small place. Do not try to smother tears. Let them come if they need to. Crying is part of rest sometimes. It empties a tight reservoir. Afterward, return to the slow breath. Let the tears be a washing, not a proving of failure. If wakefulness returns in the small hours, rise slowly if you must. Walk to the window or to the kitchen. Do a quiet task that is not stimulating. Wash a mug. Fold a sock. Keep the lights low. Return to bed when the hands feel wearied again. The act of a quiet task often makes the mind tired in a different way than counting does. Avoid heavy problem solving in bed. If urgent thoughts demand action, write a single line and set it down. A note acts like a small promise to think in daylight. The pen and paper take up the burden so the mind may rest. Let music or reading be gentle. If sounds help, choose slow instrumental pieces or the soft rhythm of a quiet reading voice. I read aloud in this room because speech has a predictable tempo. My voice is slow and steady. If you sleep with a recorded reading, let the tempo be unhurried. Keep your body comfortable. Adjust pillows. Change the blanket if needed. Comfort does not mean luxury. It means fit, when the body can settle without distraction. Sleep comes more readily. Small physical annoyances often keep the mind alert. Attend to them kindly. Practice letting go of the day. Mentally, name 3 small things that went well. Say thank you for each. However small, a gentle gratitude does not denude hardship. It simply balances the weight. Gratitude acts like a soft knot that ties the day closed. If the mind returns to scanning for threats, use the breath and a simple grounding. Feel the soles of the feet or the backs of the knees. Notice the contact with the mattress. Name 3 things you can hear. Naming anchors the attention in the body rather than the surge of anxious thought. Rest is also a choice. Decide to let the mind have its limits. Tonight, do not demand full resolution of complex matters before sleep. Allow some questions to remain with a promise to revisit them in the light. The mind learns to trust the appointed time for problem solving. When the body cannot fall asleep easily, shift the focus to warmth. Place a throw over the legs. Imagine the warmth moving slowly from the feet toward the heart. Let the image be soft and literal. Heat is a common signal of safety. The body responds to warmth by relaxing. If a companion shares the bed, practice mutual gentleness. Share a single small gesture before sleep, a hand on the back, a gwyd nod, a whispered phrase of thanks. These acts do not need eloquence. They are tiny bonds that remind each person that they are not alone in the dark. For long-term sleep difficulty, be patient with yourself. Small habits grow slowly. Begin with one consistent change, a fixed bedtime, a short breathing practice, or keeping the book by the bed. Do that for a few weeks. Notice small shifts. Reward the tiny gains. Progress often arrives like gradual light, not sudden flood. When the mind churns with regret, try a short kindness to yourself. Place a hand over the sternum and say one forgiving sentence. Keep it simple. I am forgiven. Or I will try again. These phrases are not slogans. They are small repairs of inner speech. I close with a brief practice. Lie down and relax each part of the body in turn. Start with the feet. Breathe into them. Move slowly up the legs, the hips, the belly, the chest, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the forehead. Pause at each place and invite it to soften. Let the breath be long and gentle. If sleep comes, let it come without ceremony. If it does not, return to the lamp and the book. Read a single sentence again. Let the lamp of Scripture and the lamp in the room work together. The book's light is a patient helper. The room's dimness is a kind companion. I will close the book gently now and mark the page. The lamp dims further. My voice stays soft until the hush feels like a home. Tomorrow, I will return with another short passage and another slow step. For now, rest. Let the small practices guide the body. Let the Scripture lamp keep the path. Sleep comes soon on the heels of steadiness. I sit with the book open and the lamp low. My hand finds the page and rests there. Tonight I hold a single steady thought in my voice. It comes from the lines that tell us God is a refuge and a source of strength. It says help stands near when trouble arrives. I say that slowly, letting the words be a soft harbor for the ears. Imagine a pair of strong arms. They are neither startling nor showy. They are steady. They are warm. They reach without hurry. They bend to lift what is heavy. Think of being gathered into those arms for a moment. No speech is required. Only the body finds rest beneath that presence. Place a hand on the chest. Now, feel the little lift and fall. Match your breath to that motion. Breathe in gently. Hold for the smallest of pauses. Breathe out and let the shoulders drop. Let the breath be the bridge between the tired places and the image of being carried. Tonight, the arms I speak of do three things. They steady. They shelter. They carry. They steady when the ground feels unsteady. They shelter when weather lashes at the windows of the mind. They carry when the load grows more than the hands can bear. Picture each action separately. Let one image sit on the next inhalation and the next exhale. First, steadying. Imagine feet on a narrow plank. The plank wobbles. A hand rests lightly at the small of the back, and the wobble eases. The hand is not forceful. It only keeps balance. Breathe in and feel that gentle steadiness in the spine. The world may tilt. The hand holds the center. Let your breathing follow this steadying rhythm. Inhale, balance. Exhale, softening. Second, sheltering. Picture a small alcove carved into a rock. There is no grand room inside. There is a safe hollow. Reinstrikesotsit. Inside, the air is quieter. The arms form that alcove. They bend over the head like a muted canopy. Let the image press a quiet against the ears. Breathe in and let the shelter surround your shoulders. Breathe out and notice how the jaw unclenches. Third, carrying. See a traveler whose pack is so full the shoulders ache. A helper offers to take part of the load. The traveler breathes easier. The helper's arms support without show. The step becomes gentler. Let your mind place whatever is heavy tonight into that imagined help. No need to sort it all. Place one thing and let go. Breathe out and sense the load lighten by the width of an exhale. I will guide you through a small practice now. Keep one hand on the heart. With the other hand, imagine offering a single worry into the cupped palm of those steady arms. Keep the worry small and specific. A single sentence in the mind will do. Breathe in slowly and name it one soft phrase. Breathe out and picture placing that phrase into the helper's hand. Feel the fingers close around the thought. Do this 3 times. Each time the hand closes with no rush. Each time the chest becomes a little freer. The world often makes a loud case for fixing things at once. The night does not require that work. Tonight it asks only for honest movement toward rest. The arms I describe do not promise the sudden removal of every difficulty. They promise presence that endures when the storms come. Imagine that presence like a secure dock in a rough sea. Boot still boob. The dock holds them safe enough to wait. If grief is heavy, place it gently into those arms. Let the body know tears are not failure. Tears are part of a soft release. If anger flares, do not pretend it away. Name the heat and hand it over like a burning coal placed carefully into a metal pan. The presence of those arms does not scold. It receives. It cools slowly and steadily. When fear wakes in the middle of the night, use this brief pattern. Sit up if you must. Feel both feet on the floor. Breathe 3 slow times. On the first out-breath, imagine hands gathered beneath your arms. On the second, feel the hands steady your breathing. On the third, set the fear lightly into the hands and lie back down. The image of being held becomes a tether. Return to it again and again, as necessary. There is a quiet courage in allowing help. Pride often argues for carrying alone. The arms I speak of do not shame that pride. They offer an easier road. Choosing to be carried tonight is not defeat. It is a small, brave act. The body remembers how to be supported when given permission. The muscles that had braced for a fight can slowly unlearn the tension. Picture a small child at dusk taken up into familiar arms. The child does not ask for reasons. The arms are all the explanation needed. Let that simplicity be a model. Trust need not be complex. It can be as simple as leaning back and letting space fill beneath the shoulders. On each out-breath, imagine sinking a little farther into that support. I read the phrase about refuge in a careful way, because refuge has many shapes. Refuge can be a quiet house where the kettle is warm. It can be a hallway of steady footsteps. It can be a hand on the back guiding a step. The form matters less than the fact help is present. Strength is given when we need it. Imagine the specific form that would be most credible to you tonight. Hold that form in the imagination for a breath or two. Strength here is not a loud force. It is a steady pressure like the roots of a tree deep in the earth. The branches may shake in the wind, but the roots hold. Think of a root's patience. Let your shoulders imagine roots growing down through the mattress and into the ground. With each slow breath, picture the roots deepening. The image is ordinary and practical. Repetition quietly changes the nervous system. Sometimes help comes through another person. If a friend has shown care before, recall their face, not as a demand for more, but as evidence that help often arrives through hands and voices. If no one is near, the promise of presence is still true. The imagined arms will do the work of steadiness. They are a way of making the abstract shelter into a concrete shape the body can feel. Here is a short anchor phrase to carry. Choose a few words that fit the image, held in strong arms. Keep them simple. Say them on the out-breath. Breathe in. Breathe out and think the phrase once. Gently. Use it when thoughts race. The phrase is not an argument. It is a small rope to steady the mind. If sleep remains distant, try a tactile practice. Smooth a blanket over your lap. Feel the fabric's texture. Let the hands move slowly across it, like tracing the lines of a face, you know. With each slow pass, pair a breath, and the image of the arms tightening their hold just enough to steady, not to bind. The motion tells the body that it is safe to let go. There is comfort in knowing that being carried does not erase the lesson in a difficulty. The lessons remain. The life that learns from trouble grows steady. Being held tonight is part of that growth. It prepares the heart to return to the day with a steadier step. Let help be a teacher of gentleness, not a shortcut to amnesia. If guilt murmurs in the night, do not let it speak unchecked. Name a single small thing to be done in the morning, and then place the rest into the helper's hands. The act of naming and scheduling moves the mind from anxious rumination into manageable time. Hand over the rest with the same breathing practice used before. The night needs not to fix every wrong. It only needs to make room for rest. I will speak for a moment about trust. Trust is not instant. It grows in the slow experience of being met repeatedly. If worry worries, the promises are empty. Recall one small proof from life where help arrived and steadied the day. Keep that memory in mind like a token. Let it confirm the imagined arms until the imagination becomes a muscle you can return to without effort. Before I close this part, a brief practice you can use later if wakefulness returns. Place the palm of your hand over your heart. Breathe in for 3 counts. Imagine a broad hand beneath yours, steady and warm. Breathe out for 5 counts, and imagine setting the night's heaviest thought into the broad hand. Say the anchor phrase once on the out-breath. Repeat 3 times. Lie back and allow gravity and that imagined support to work together. I slow my voice now and let the image rest. Keep the feeling of being held as the last sense before sleep. It need not be elaborate. A single picture of warmth and steady support will do when eyes close. Carry that picture inward. Let the arms continue their work in the quiet of sleep, steadying, sheltering, carrying. In a moment, I will close the book and fold the page. I will dim the lamp a fraction and prepare to speak a final meditation and blessing. Keep this image of refuge beside you. Let it soften the chest and steady the breath. When we move to the last part, I will guide a closing prayer and blessing to rest on this shelter and to send you gently into sleep. For now, breathe in, breathe out, and rest in the thought that help is near and holds you with a steady, unconditional care. I close the Bible with slow hands. The cover settles. The page keeps its place. The light grows softer. The room breathes in the same quiet rhythm we have lived together. My voice narrows to a hush. The rest comes by small motions now. Sit still where you are. Adjust without effort. Let the weight of the body find its support. Rest the hands lightly in the lap or on the bed. Soften the face. Release the jaw. The practice we have used all evening will help now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Match the slow pattern of the house. I will guide a short time of silent meditation. This is not a long sermon. It is a small arrival. Bring a single focus. Make it simple. Tonight, we invite one steady image, gentle light. Imagine light not as a glare but as warmth. Imagine it entering the room like the hush before dawn. It does not demand attention. It comes to tend what is fragile. Picture that light first at the soles of the feet. Feel a slight warming there. Let it travel upwards slowly. It moves without hurry. It reaches the ankles, then the knees, then the thighs. Each small part it touches eases a tiny tension. Breathe and let the light continue. It reaches the belly and the chest. The breath deepens. A small looseness spreads across the shoulders. Bones that have been tense remember how to rest. The light finds the throat and the jaw and tells them to relax. It makes no loud promise. It simply rests where worry used to live. On the next inhale, imagine the light moving toward the heart. It comes like a hand opening a window. The heart breathes more fully. Old tightness softens into a memory. The mind notices without forcing. Thoughts may float by. Let them pass like small clouds. Keep returning to the feeling of warm light at the center of the chest. If your hands are folded, open them slowly. Let the palms face upward, as if to receive. If eyes are closed, keep them closed. If they are open, soften the gaze. Remain present with the small warmth that lives now in the lungs and the ribs. I speak the next guidance with the quiet of someone lighting a candle beside you. Name one thing you hope will be eased tonight. Do not list a dozen. Choose only one. It can be a small thing, a tight shoulder, a restless hour, a worry that repeats. Hold it gently inside. Tell it the single sentence, "This may rest." For now, do not argue about it. Offer it to the light. Now imagine the light swelling slightly. It does not erase the named thing. It takes its place beside it and makes space. The light is patient. It does not demand proof of change. It simply waits and warms. Breathe in. Breathe out. In the space between breaths, let a small relief sit like a quiet stone on the chest. If a face or a memory rises with sharpness, do not push it away. Picture setting that memory down on the bed beneath the light. It will not be left alone. Mercy attends it there. The light covers the edges without burning. It keeps the memory safe enough to exist without making you tremble. Keep breathing slowly. Count if that helps. 3 in, 5 out. Let the out-breath be a little longer. With each out-breath, imagine the light growing gentler in brightness and warmer in color. It becomes a companion rather than a fixture. Its presence suggests rest more than it demands proof. I now invite a moment of silence. In that silence, let the light do its work without words. If you pray with a phrase, hold it in the heart silently. If you prefer only breathing and image, remain with those. This silence is a shared hush. No one must perform. No one must explain. Allow the quiet to be enough. 7 slow breaths of silence follow. Breathe with them. Let the room hold the pause. As we return from that stillness, keep the image of the light near. Let it fill the corners of the room in your imagination. See it on the curtains, on the ceiling, on the small objects that keep you company at night. Nothing changes loudly. The ordinary things feel more gracious. The night feels less like a test and more like a resting place. I offer now a gentle blessing for the night. I will speak it slowly and simply, and you may receive it in the way that fits you best. Hear these words as a quiet hand laid below the chin of the day, tilting it toward peace. May a steady light fill this room. May that light find the places of restlessness and warm them into calm. May breath arrive easily and hold without strain. May sleep come when it is ready, and may waking arrive with a small, bright hope. May the mind be gentle with itself. May harsh words spoken earlier not be the last ones you keep. May compassion find a quiet entrance into the places that have been hard. May mercy, like a patient friend, sit where shame has tried to live. May the heart be made ready for morning, not by force, but by soft preparation. May the next day begin with one small thing that brings ease. May there be a brief moment when a hand is warmed, a door opens, a cup is offered, or a small task finishes and shows the work of honest hands. May you be held when fear comes, not always by explanation, but by presence. Let the memory of being carried be near like an anchor. If exhaustion feels heavy, let it be received without judgment. The body is doing its work. Rest is not failure, it is repair. May hope be renewed gently in the night. Like a seed that does not shout to be known, let hope take root in small habits, a steady breath, a kind thought, a single step planned for morning. Allow the night to water these small beginnings. Trust that very little light can encourage a new leaf. Finally, may the love that has watched you until now continue. It does not require you to be perfect. It waits with steady hands and a quiet willingness to help. May that love keep its slow watch while the body sleeps. Let it work in ways that are unseen but real. I will hold a short space of silence so the blessing can settle. Receive it in your own tongue if you wish. Let the words be a soft garment wrapped around the shoulders of the night. A few more breaths of quiet follow. Let the blessing rest in the chest. When silence fills the room once more, you may choose how to move into sleep. If the mind roams, return to the light at the heart. If the body protests, adjust without panic and breathe downward. If the night opens a wound, let it be seen, and then let the light cover it. This is a practice more than a demand. Return as often as needed. I stay here quietly for a little while. My breathing matches the tempo we have kept. The lamp remains at a low glow. The book rests closed at my side. I will not speak again except in a softer, lingering tone, as the moment asks, if sleep finds you, go without hurry. If wakefulness persists, return to the image of the small light and the steady breath. Before I end, I share one small instruction for the waking hours. When morning comes, keep one simple action to renew hope. It can be as small as opening a window for a minute, pouring a glass of water, or stepping outside to feel the air. Let that single action be the day's beginning. It is a bridge from rest to work. It teaches the body that care continues. Now I close with a final, short benediction. Let it be a low word that you can carry like a pebble in the pocket of the heart. Go into the night with peace. Be held, be healed in small measures. Wake with a lighter step. I will dim the lamp fully in a moment. The room will not be empty. The light I spoke of will remain, not as an image only, but as a quiet promise to return tomorrow. Rest. Now, sleep gently. I will be here again to read and to keep this calm with you. Good night.